So, so I'm Annette, Tap and Poverty and Equalities Coordinator from Aberdeenshire, and with me I have the two who lead our lived experience work. So ask them to introduce themselves. Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Lewis, Youth Engagement Worker for Tackling Poverty and Inequalities.
And Agnes.
Hi, I'm Agnes Carter, Tackling Poverty and Inequalities, Poverty Engagement Worker.
So what I'm going to do is give you a background to where we've got to so far, and then the people who actually deliver it on behalf of Tackling Poverty and Inequalities are going to tell you a little bit about their work. So Aberdeenshire Council is the fourth rural area, so it's a huge rural area in Aberdeenshire. To get from one side to the other, it'll take you 2.5 hours, and that's with all the bypass and all the new infrastructure. So when we were looking at child poverty a number of years ago, as soon as the Act came out, and we knew that we had to look at a child poverty action report, first thing we did was we commissioned the Poverty Alliance, there's a theme here, and we also had John who came in, and they did a piece of work to show us what child poverty looked like in a rural area. And out of that, we were really keen that parents could have a voice in that research. So out of that, we asked if the parents wanted to continue to be engaged in developing our action plan and look at the services. And they agreed, and they asked for an online forum, not a face-to-face forum, because of the stigma that they felt at that time. And they wanted it to be anonymous. And you're talking before the pandemic, where we weren't really that great with technology. And I do remember standing in front of a similar group of people 6 years ago and being asked, so how are you going to do that? And I think I all felt something, because at the time we weren't sure how we were going to do that to make it safe and secure. But we found a platform and we set up our first online forum. And it was almost 6 years ago that happened. Just in time for the pandemic to arrive. And we are so lucky that we actually had that group of parents who had came together to talk about their experiences and how we can improve services in Aberdeenshire. Because the pandemic, I think, although it's 5 years ago, at that time things were changing on a daily basis. And on a daily basis we were saying to our parents, so how are we going to feed 2,500 people that are children that are on free school meals across Aberdeenshire? It's huge, it takes 2 hours from one end to the other. We don't have the infrastructure, what are we going to do? And they said, just give us the money and we'll feed our kids. And that's what we did. And that was the first thing that actually happened with that forum. And I think, because looking back, I think the pandemic was a horrible time for everybody, but it was really good for us, because we then got a foundation that we could work from. We then, from a new forum, they got respect from not just the council but other sectors. They also felt that they were making a difference from day one. So this is where I go backwards in somebody else's presentation. Oh no, there you go. So why do we do it? I think you've heard from lots of people that the reason that you engage with local people is so that you can get a better understanding of what's happening. And in Aberdeenshire, we use a rights-based approach. We believe that everybody has the right to be involved in decisions that are going to affect them, but not just that, but they have the right to that co-production. So when we directly engage, and I'm not talking about a consultation which is a questionnaire, I'm talking about that direct engagement with those with lived experience. When we engage with them and they tell us what their experience is, they also tell us what works and what doesn't work. And they help us to develop services that are relevant to them and are accessible to them. So who is involved in our panels and our forums? Anybody over 11, and that's just because a couple of years ago we got feedback from young people and parents that the young people felt that nobody was listening to them. They had been affected by the pandemic probably more than most. They had felt that they were demonised through that time, and although people had moved on, nobody had asked them for their views. So Rachel joined our team at that point. We do have someone who supports children through a specific process, and that's the child protection process, and they've only been in post for a few months. But already that system has changed because of what the children are saying. They felt that they did not have a voice, everybody was making decisions around about them, and things were being done to them, and the outcomes weren't positive for the children. So already that post has made a big difference in a very difficult situation for a lot of the children. So how do we engage? There's not one way that we engage. So we have expert panels, which is around specific issues. So we don't just look for expert experiences of living in poverty or experience of inequalities, but around a specific project. And at the moment it's accessing NHS care for children with multiple needs. So there is a panel that's getting set up on that. We've had panels that are looking at rural poverty, we've had panels that are looking at transport. So these are short-term projects that we have, just to give us a better look. We have a forum which is open to anybody that's on a panel, but it's the wider forum that we work with, and they have got experience of inequalities or poverty, living in poverty. We also understand that a panel and a forum for some people is not for them. They're in a stage in their life that maybe they just don't have the time, because we're all busy people and they're busy too, but they still want to have a voice. So we have impact statements, we do one-to-one interviews where people want to raise concerns, they want to have that voice, but they don't want to make a regular commitment, so we think that's okay. And we have impact statements, and we are just introducing like video diaries, so we can actually physically see a journey for people and what they're talking about when they're talking about barriers. We have a partnership of third sector and public partners come together, and this partnership believes in lived experience. So they're all committed to it, so we're really lucky in Aberdeenshire that we have that wide partnership. And so when we're looking at panels or forums, we want to represent Aberdeenshire, we want to represent the primary families, we want those voices to be heard, but we know that we don't have every voice that needs to be listened to. But within that partnership, there is partners who work with those that are least heard. So it's really important for their voices to come in to the decision-making processes as well. And we have the Youth Rights Committee that's been set up through Tackling Poverty, and the young people comes together and look at, like I said, the cost of school day, and sort of information on the internet and how dangerous that can be if it's misinformation. So there's a range, and it's their priorities, and it's a range of things that they look at. The Our Lived Experience local voices, whether they're young people or older people, they are our social conscience, and they are our critical friends, and we wouldn't be able to have informed decisions without them. I'm going to pass you on to Rachel, who's going to take you through next.
So I'm Rachel, I'm a youth worker, so talking in front of adults scares me a little bit. And I'm used to amplifying my voice to get the attention of young people, so a microphone also scares me. So engagement and participation. So through working with young people as partners and providing a safe, fun space, it allows them to speak openly and honestly with us, knowing that we're going to listen to their voices, we're going to hear them, and we're going to value them. Using a rights-based approach, so these four kind of being our main one, it ensures that the rights of the child are being upheld throughout everything that we do. As well as listening to them and valuing the voices, we're empowering the young people to come up with solutions. Like this morning, there was a group that said, listening to young people, they had better ideas than we do, because it's true, they're pretty badass and they've got the good ideas of how we can help young people. So they come up with solutions, we empower them to take action, they make positive changes for themselves and for their peers. Young people are brilliant, they are badass, and they've got really good ideas, so we need to be including them more in the decisions that affect them and making better changes for them. So, in true youth work style, I've just made a video for young people's voices instead of me. So that's from the young people's point of view, so I'll pass on to my colleague Agnes.
No, it's okay. No, thank you for that. As Annette already, I'm scared of microphones as well. As Annette already mentioned that our lived experience work started 5 years ago, and actually very quickly when we started to work with lived experience in our first conference, we developed a lived experience charter where people, where lived experience member actually highlighting what they would expect when somebody engaged with lived experience work. So I will not go through all of them, but and all of them are important, and so I will just pick random. So the first and foremost, they don't ask if you don't want to hear what's being said. So another important is use simple language and be clear what you want. And so let them know what changes has been made when the engagement been done. So as Rachel already also said, you know, I can speak about lived experience work all day, and today is all about lived experience and about their voices. So we have prepared few recordings, and first Kirsty is speaking about her experience with engagement.
I'm Kirsty Ngala and I live in Aberdeenshire. I'm a tenant within Aberdeenshire Council and I'm on the lived experience team. I'm also on within housing and I'm on the Poverty Alliance Scotland. But it's really important that we get our voices heard. I do feel that a voice has been heard, most definitely, and it's been an amazing experience and it's very informative. I really enjoy it. I don't think change is going to happen very quickly, but if we're heard and it's highlighted and they're taking into consideration that these things are happening and they're hearing us, then change hopefully will follow shortly. I find that your panels are brilliant. They're very well run and your participation is excellent. We're accommodated, we're valued, we're listened to, empathy, everything, it's all there. We do get support in vouchers. It's nice to be appreciated. It's amazing that we get that because in some cases you don't get. I think the way that you do your participation is slightly different and you're accommodating. So on a lot of the other ones, you have to attend at a time that you're told, and a lot of them don't give you anything for your time. That is what's important. It's to make your panel feel wanted, valued, and welcomed. You have to listen to people that are living the experience. You have to listen to people that have actually got this problem on their doorstep or they're living it. It's real. Voices are what make change in this world.
Thank you very much, Kirsty, for that. So, speaking about the change, the change has been happening, like Kirsty said, it doesn't happen overnight, but there has been a slow change, but those changes are really tangible. We are, again, I will not go through all of them, but one of is that we managed to gather evidence for integrated impact assessment. We are informing policy work, and the latest one was the cost of the school day, where young people also were involved. Our panels managed to allocate funding to tackle poverty and inequalities in their communities, and they also helped us to secure more funding to carry out more work with local voices. So, like Annette already mentioned, it will be now this NHS Chat Poverty Acceleration Fund project will be happening. Also, Cash First project is happening just now. So there is a lot of work happening. Also, we are co-delivering with local voices a very valuable training, which was already released last year around stigma, and this year we are working to develop new training, lived experience awareness training, which our local voices also helping us to make that training meaningful and more impactful. So, speaking about the changes, it's not only council and partnership who get the benefits out of lived experience engagement. There is also other side of the members who actually engage in lived experience work, get some benefits out of it, and we got our member sharing her experience, how she benefited from the engagement.
Being a single parent to two young children on my own and living on benefits and not working, I did find that those were really big barriers for me having any kind of, self-esteem or confidence to begin with, I think. It was more kind of, I didn't really know what services I could access, who I could speak to specifically about things. So I did find things really isolating and difficult. And I did feel very alone at times as well. So much has changed for me from taking part in the lived experience forums, because I feel now that I've gained a lot of confidence now. I feel that my voice is valued and respected because I have lived experience and I can bring knowledge and experience to the forum. I also feel that I'm not alone anymore. I've got a friendship group there. I feel that I can open up about anything because there is a lot of trust there and confidentiality, and just feeling really comfortable, speaking about things that I'm finding difficult and knowing that there's always support there available. And that really is valuable to me because I always know that no matter what's happening, I'm always going to have support and friendship whenever I need it. Good practice for engagement for me would be things like someone giving you the opportunity to talk and just being able to listen, letting you tell your story and giving your experience about things that you've maybe found difficult or challenging, and just allowing you the time to say that and actually listen to what you're saying. So I think it's things like that, really. No matter what the issue is, if someone's having difficulty with it or having a challenge with it, it should still be seen as relevant because it's causing that person an issue. It's changed my life 100%, absolutely, because I went from moving to a new area with 2 young children to support, with no job, living on benefits, not really sure what my life was going to be following the fallout from this experience. But down the line, I can see that I'm a lot happier. I'm not anxious anymore. I'm working. My children are happy. I'm a lot more comfortable and confident, and my self-esteem is so much better now. I feel that what I have to say is relevant and listened to, and that my experiences are valued, and that's all that matters to me, really. If I can help someone who's been in a situation like me going forward, and I can say, yeah, I've come out the other side of things and I feel 10 times better than what I did, all those years ago, I would fully recommend going for the lived experience forums because it's changed my life completely. Listen to what your group are telling you. Everything is important. Any little thing that they are thinking, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't say that, or I don't think that this is the right kind of place to be saying this. It comes down to having a relationship with that person and building on trust and friendship. That's the key to all this, because I know that my experience has definitely been based on trust and friendship and going forward. And if you can get that at the start, then that's the basis for a great group going forward.
Thank you very much.